My job as an organizer is to get people to come together, to build the organization with a purpose, to develop leaders and their skills, and we do this through using their experiences, developing trainings, and then giving them opportunities to take on jobs and responsibilities within the organization.
It's going into a community and teaching people how to advocate for themselves.
You need to have people speak for themselves. Don't do for people what they can do for themselves. What that means for us in community organizing is that we are building collective community power that will change policies, that can change laws, it also transforms consciousness, and also gives a cultural shift on issues.
The job of an organizer is to build an organization that gives people the power to change things.
So getting people together helps them think about the reality of what's happening to them, why it's happening, and what they can do, and what they will commit to do to make a change.
So what community organizing is not, it is not direct service. It is not helping people, which is a wonderful thing to do, but it is not direct service. We do no social work. We believe that to solve homelessness, we need to bring the homeless people in and teach them how to fight to end homelessness, to create more housing and stuff.
I got into community organizing through discovering that through direct service, I was a director of a program providing housing and shelter for women coming out of prison and homeless women. I learned that we could do in our direct service as only so much because there were structural systemic changes that needed to take place. So I wanted to make sure that I got those changes made so that people had a chance to improve their lives.
It's really reteaching somebody or yourself to think and react completely different. We have a basic rule in organizing: don't do anything for anybody they can do for themselves, which is a very hard concept to teach people who want to be nice and help.
So we do this in several ways, but the key method we use is identifying what people are interested in, and we do this by having conversations with community members, listening to them, and really trying to figure out what is it that they care about, and understand what they are willing to do. So my job is to get them engaged, and this builds power within the organization.
It takes 3 to 5 years to teach somebody how to be an organizer because you're learning things most of us are not taught as children. You're learning about power, confrontation, how to use the media.
So with Virginia Organizing, we try to create opportunities with social work students. So we talk to social work programs and provide opportunities for social work students to do internships with us. The curriculum in the universities majority focus on direct service or micro social work. And we expose them to macro and even sometimes meso social work. So students get to put into practice the concepts they read about, and they come into community, and most of the time what they're doing is figuring out direct service, the role of direct service, the role of advocacy, and the role of community organizing.
And actually, community organizing is only 75 years old in the United States, and it came about by a man by the name of Saul Alinsky, who learned to organize with the union movement in the 30s, and in 1939 took the same set of skills out into the community. So I thought first it would be good to give you, you need to see community organizing in the history of other organizing movements in the United States, going back to the abolitionist movement, it was designed to abolish slavery in the United States. And then there was the civil rights movement. I'm sure you've heard of Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, that radically, through an organizing process, changed the lives of African Americans in the United States. And then there is the women's movement in the United States. 100 years ago, there's a quote that says women had the same amount of rights as a man in a mental institution. Women couldn't vote, they couldn't serve on juries because they were considered incompetent, they couldn't get elected to office. They had virtually no rights in the United States at all, and in most of the world. And thousands of women, led by women such as Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, organized, starting in 1854 and in 1919, amended our Constitution to give women the right to vote and equal rights. And today, the leading candidate to be president in the 2016 election is Hillary Clinton. And then finally, there was the labor movement of the 30s that fought in industrial factories, the auto industry, the tire industry, the stockyards, fought and changed and helped create a middle class in our country by giving decent wages, decent benefits. The 8-hour day comes out of that time, the 40-hour week, health insurance, retirement. All of that comes through workers organizing for better working conditions.
So the campaign was directed, the Broken Hearts campaign was directed at elected officials, but it involved community members, supportive legislators, as well as organizations from social work programs, direct service programs, unions, and other civic organizations. We did get media coverage, but more important, legislators who are real powerful, we made sure we had their constituents, people from their districts, meeting with them, talking about how it's affecting people in their district. So we had, for example, one county that had over 28% unemployment within one county. We had one group talking about the number of children who were being affected in Head Start programs. And social workers giving stories of their clients and their statistics that we could use. We had labor unions giving statistics on how many people were unemployed. We had teachers talking about kids being affected by Head Start, and we could present this to legislators to help them understand that we are paying attention, and to have all of this come in, it built a powerful message that kept them, made them aware that we were paying attention and we were not letting up. We were also doing emails, letters to the editors on local newspaper, and every time we could get someone talking at a forum with a legislator, they were asking questions about budgets. So to wrap this up, I just want to leave you with community organizing may sound like fun. Direct actions are tied to some bigger goal. It's very strategic. That was one day, but there had been lots of activities going on before that day, and there were lots of activities that went on after the Broken Hearts Day. So we use tactics and actions, but they're part of a bigger strategic plan that's making long-term change. So a lot of times people think it's just fun, but it's tied to a bigger goal.
And then finally, when I go back to Chicago, we have a meeting that my staff are organizing with union organizers and other community organizers throughout the city to put 2,500 people in the auditorium of a local university. But it isn't just to put them in there. It's then we will probably walk out the door whereby That university is by a major expressway. We will probably walk 2,000 people and shut down the expressway. We're not doing that because we like shutting down expressways. Although that can be a lot of fun too. The message of the meeting and the organizing is this is our city too, because in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, they are cutting homeless services for the mentally disabled, school services, and they are giving wealthy corporations tax breaks. And 2 years from now, by going door to door and talking to our elected officials and pressuring them, we want to change the tax laws in our state. So that's why I still do it.